Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode.
Oh,
Well, today, Amanda, we were going to talk about some of the things that you figured out or you want to do, but maybe some of your obstacles or barriers to doing them.
yes.
If you've been watching the videos over the past few months in this conversation we've been having about what does Amanda want to do with the time she has left, one of the things that's become abundantly clear for her, she wants to be a voice, amplify the voice of glioblastoma and raise awareness. Personally, she also has been dabbling in the idea of doing another 29029 event, which she did in 2023 and she was training to do in 2024
When I fell.
when you fell. And an event, and more specifically a community like we talked about, that has become just so near and dear to her heart, and she really felt like she found a home and a tribe of people she loved being around. Amanda has never been somebody who has been driven by money.
I just am not driven by like luxuries, I guess, versus like I don't need the really nice car and I don't need the really nice house and then really nice things like that kind of stuff. It's just like I'm very indifferent to it.
Yeah, but I guess so. The point of this conversation coming up is there's two things specifically that Amanda has identified she wants to do, but she has been hesitant about pursuing them because of financial burdens. One of them is sponsoring a billboard that says,
Cure glioblastoma. It's pretty simple.
yep.
It's perfect. Way to go, Harry.
And the other one is signing up and fully committing to do another 29 event. Both of those have financial cost to them, and Amanda has been hesitant about fully committing to them because she doesn't want to.
Well, I'm fully committed to the billboard. The other one is a lot more money.
It is. And what the dialogue that we've been having, and that's why we wanted to just kind of air this out here, is Amanda has traditionally, I think, been in the mindset of there's only one way to get money. You go and work, and then they pay you for your work. And then you don't ask anybody for help ever outside of that, even though people might want to help. What I was telling her with the billboard is that there might be people who listen and watch this who have companies who would want to sponsor the billboard for her. There might be programs that do scholarships through 29029 or other athletes who would want to contribute and support her doing it. And she has not wanted to have that conversation because,
Well, I don't know. It's like uncomfortable. Um I I do know that fundraising for the billboard would be very easy. 29029 is a completely different story. I think it's worth every single penny. I'm assuming that the year 2026, when I really want to do it, it's probably going to be about a $6,000 commitment.
mm-hmm.
That includes a lot of things. There's a lot that's included in the $6,000, but I don't have a full-time job. I don't have the income that I used to have. And so right now I just feel like even though I really want to commit to 29029, there's that other side of me that's like, is this financially the right thing to do?
There's the very real obstacle for you of you're not able to go and earn income in the way you used to.
No.
And plus you are in the process of doing the Social Security stuff, which is not
just for like reference, the Social Security that I would get doesn't even pay bills. So like I'm very thankful for it. I have a very what's now like a Spartan lifestyle where I don't really I've never really been into like luxury things, but I, and I'm not like feeling like I'm pinching pennies or anything, but there's just the reality is like, no, I can't go do all the things that I would maybe want to do. There's really nothing that I feel like I'm missing out on right now, to be honest. I don't again, I don't need to travel the world. I just need to go back to Sedona.
Yeah.
That's all.
Social Security is not going to be enough money to meet your basic needs.
Basic needs. I mean, like just straight up basic needs.
Amanda has a GoFundMe, but she is really, really adamant that every penny in that GoFundMe goes only towards medical stuff.
That's it.
So she will not touch that unless it's for medical things, which those add up. She has had a couple people who have donated that told her specifically use this for something fun, and she's going to honor that. But the overwhelming majority of that money she does not touch unless it goes to medical things. She just feels like that. So part of the reason that I think this is really good that you're having this conversation right now, and I appreciate you doing it because I know it's not the most comfortable thing for you, because inevitably for you to be a voice about glioblastoma awareness, for you to be somebody who's going to contribute meaningfully in helping fund research, helping facilitate a cure happening down the road, there's going to be a fundraising component of that involved, right?
I'll just be the face.
Well, you are going to be the face, but there's
I can be whatever else.
But
I wouldn't be very good at. You're really good at fundraising, like Hospice of Santa Barbara.
I'm good at telling stories, is what I'm really good at, and then I can tell a story that is meaningful, and I believe in what they do. Mm-hmm. So what she's referencing is for the last few years, I MC this event for a local hospice organization in Santa Barbara that I just absolutely love them. They do such great work.
Yes.
They have their big event every September, and I'll do the whole thing where I run the program, and then I'll stand up there and ask people to donate. And I'm not the best at asking for that. I just tell a really good story that I think touches people's lives, which is what you've been doing this whole time, is you've been telling a really good story that touches people's lives. Mm-hmm. People are invested in you, and they're invested in the journey. So I think this is a great conversation for you to start having, mm-hmm. simply because for you to do those other things that you want to do, it's going to require you to become more comfortable and willing to tell a story, and then allow individuals, companies, organizations to contribute money because they are meaningfully touched and inspired by your story to help them ultimately fund causes and organizations that you care about.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. So initially, just having a conversation about billboards or 29 there could very well be people who not only want to sponsor or their company wants to sponsor a billboard locally or help you do that. Maybe they want to sponsor a billboard in 15 of the 50 states. Mm-hmm. It's just out there. And I guess
glioblastoma is not just central to California.
Well, it's not.
It's everywhere.
And sadly, Amanda, people have to care to care. Mm-hmm. And typically, we don't care unless there's some sort of personal connection.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people who have invited you into their life this last year who have developed a very loving and caring relationship for you, who are rooting for you, and will want to support things that you care about, whether it is being able to help fundraise, whether it's financial, or it's just helping spread the word about things.
Yeah.
So this is just kind of a practice for you to start leveraging your social network to do those things. I guess it doesn't always have to just be you doing it by yourself, which is traditionally what it's been in the past.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Any thoughts on that?
I guess, my thoughts is like, it's definitely interesting to be in a place that I never thought I was going to be in the sense of like really having to think long and hard about spending, essentially $6,000 for a race that I absolutely love. Like, I mean, now that I have this almost what seems like a financial limitation right now. I'm sure, as I get better, it's not going to feel like this, but it's tricky because you really do have to pick and choose the things that I want to do because, rent is due. PG&E is due. It's hard to live, I feel like, anywhere right now. I think, to be honest, I feel like COVID, I don't know what happened, but all the housing market like just went crazy. But it seems almost like just astronomically more expensive right now. So like that's the hesitancy, is like, is this a good use of $6,000, or is this going to be something where I can't pay rent in a couple, next year? That's a problem.
One of the things I really appreciate about your willingness to have these conversations is why we're talking about you. A lot of people watching and listening are having to make those same, agonizing over of should I do this, should I do that, and especially what's tragic is there's things that, you've mentioned luxury needs before. We're not talking about that. We're talking about these things that are really soulful calling to you, deeply meaningful. We live so much of our life agonizing over, do I do this? Do I not do this? Do I do this? Do I not do this? The story I always use as an example is my father went through a 2.5+ year thing with colon cancer. He did surgery, then he did treatment. He was horribly sick. And then when he finally got the word from his doctor saying, congratulations, Mike, you're cancer free, you have your whole life in front of you, he sat down with pen and paper and began to make a list for his dream camping trip. This was a camping trip he had always wanted to take, and he had just put off because he was always he felt encumbered by bills and things to pay, and more bills and more things to pay, and the responsibilities that we all feel the weight of in day-to-day life. Because he had had this brush with death, he had really made a resolution with himself that he was going to live the rest of his life differently, and he was going to make some priorities to really honor and do these things that his heart had always called to do. And then he died 2 weeks later. He died. He had his list written out. He had begun to get some supplies for it. He had gotten a backpack, and he had gotten a map for the place he wanted to go. And he died, never realizing that dream. So there's this delicate balance that I think many of us have to figure out, and we do all the time, about, gosh, here's the responsibilities I have in life, and here are these other things that my heart is calling to. And, well, these things that my heart is calling to, because most of us have learned that we push them aside and we set them on the shelf and wait until the right time or the perfect time, until all of a sudden
I have
a terminal diagnosis.
Fun.
Yeah, and even with the terminal diagnosis, you would think it's this call to charge off and do the bucket list stuff, but that's not true, because you still have to
be responsible.
You still have to live, and you still have to eat, and you still have to do all those things.
Yeah, it's tough. It's definitely a tricky balance.
It is a tricky balance, and I think it's a start of a really good conversation.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you sharing it. Anything else for today?
No.
Good. All right, everybody. That's all we have for today. If you have any questions about this, or any questions you want to ask Amanda or I for future videos, be sure to leave them in the comments. Check out It's Your Time to Shine Facebook group. We will see you all next time. We love and appreciate you. Oh, one last thing. Amanda's next MRI
is a week and a day from
Tuesday, July 29th. And Tuesday, July 29th. So just as with all of them, we'll post the update to the results to her GoFundMe that evening, and then we'll share it on social media the following day on Wednesday. So keep her in your thoughts and prayers for that.
Yes, please.
Yes, and we'll see y'all soon. Take care.